What if, for one day, I stopped giving out my personal information to every company that asked for it? Not for anything illegal and not to deceive anybody, but simply to find out how much of our lives actually require our personal information. Today, I'm going to create privacy-first digital identities using the app mysudo, and then I'm going to test them in the real world to find out how easy it is to get onto public Wi-Fi, to use rideshare apps, to use a RoboTaxi, maybe even to rent a car. And I want to see how far these aliases can go and when they hit a wall, or if they even hit a wall. What do all of these places have in common? All of them have some kind of loyalty program that are requesting your name, your email address, your phone number in order to give you some kind of discount. But you don't have to give it to them. You can give them a pseudonym. Let's use Pizza Hut as an example of how this works. If I need to create an account on the Pizza Hut app, I'm going to go into mysudo. I'm going to use the shopping pseudonym that I've created. That email address, I'm going to copy it in. And when they send me an email with a code, it's not going to come to my personal inbox. It's going to come to the inbox of that particular pseudonym. So I'll copy and paste that in there, fill out the rest of the information. And now, with the exception of the delivery address, everything else is a pseudonym. When I was checking out at DSW, they asked me for my information, my personal email and my phone number. And if I gave it to them, they would give me 15% off of my order. Like, these are the kind of savings that you can get when you're using your information, but definitely when you're using a pseudonym. Interestingly, Uber presented me with the first obstacle to creating an account using a pseudonym, and that is they forced me to verify with an ID, so I had to scan my driver's license. Okay. So it verified my ID, even though the names didn't match. The name that I've put into Uber is not the same, obviously, as the one that I have on my driver's license, and yet I have a feeling, let's see here, confirm the ride, and we're good to go. All right, let's get moving. Here we go. So here's the thing, Starbucks and a lot of different places like this, they ask for your name, your email address, so much personal information just to get on Wi-Fi. You don't have to give them everything that they ask for. Sometimes they make it a required space, but a lot of times they don't. So I finished at Starbucks. I've set up a RoboTaxi account using Tim the Traveler as my pseudonym. And now we're gonna see if I can take this RoboTaxi to another place. Yeah, let's give this a try. This is really interesting. I've never been in an autonomous vehicle before, so I'm excited about this. How do you get in? How do you get into this darn thing? Please enter the vehicle.
Go in the front. Go in the front.
No, it won't let me go in the front, will it? Oh, there we go. Oh, I've never used a Tesla before. All right, so here we are in a RoboTaxi trying to get back to another location. But here's the thing. I didn't use any of my personal information in order to call this taxi. Even my card was a virtual card that's under the name of the pseudonym that I created in mysudo, using the same email, the phone number, all of that stuff, so that I can protect my identity, just give them the digital identity that they need in order to take this RoboTaxi, which is crazy cool. All right. So that was a RoboTaxi, and that was pretty cool, I'll be honest. And we used a complete pseudonym to do that, but let's level this up. Can we use a pseudonym for the next thing that I want to try? Renting a car. I want to rent a car from Hertz for the next couple of days, and I want to see, is it possible to use a pseudonym in order to rent a car? And I know what you're thinking, because it's the same thing as if I were traveling anywhere else. I have to use my real name. I have to give them my driver's license in order to rent a car from Hertz. So does that mean that I can no longer use a pseudonym? And the answer is actually really interesting, because I can create a pseudonym in mysudo that actually is my name. And although that doesn't make sense at first, think about it. I can use my name, but still protect all the rest of my personal information in the process. So I used that pseudonym. I have called that one Twin because it's my twin. And now I can give over my name. I can still give over my driver's license. I can rent a car from Hertz, I think, and use this pseudonym in the process. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Okay, I've got my car, I have rented it, it's under my name, but it's still under a pseudonym. And I think this has been my biggest lesson in using mysudo for a lot of these things, especially as they get increasingly harder, is that a pseudonym doesn't necessarily have to mean that I'm using a different name or even, a different phone number if I don't want to. It just means that I have control over which information gets passed over. So in this case, I had to use my name because I'm gonna be giving over my driver's license anyway. They have to know who is renting this car, but they don't have to know a specific email address or a specific phone number. I can give them whatever I need to, and I've created this twin in mysudo that allows me to do the same. So I would call this a win, renting a car using a pseudonym. So the more that I've been using the mysudo app, the more that I really like being able to compartmentalize all of these different identities, keep them separate, keep the messaging for them separate, so that when an email comes in for Tim the Traveler, it only goes into his inbox. It doesn't come into my personal inbox. It doesn't come into my work inbox. Everything has its place. Yes. This video is sponsored by mysudo. And if you go to mysudo.com/ATS, you can take advantage of a special offer they have for you. But even if you don't use mysudo, I want to challenge you to take notice of every time you're asked for your personal information this week, whether it's online or even in person. I bet that if you really pay attention, you'll realize that it is a lot more often than you think. And although I can't say this is true always, a majority of the time you have the right to use a secure digital profile instead. I've used a pseudonym to purchase an eSIM card for my phone, to join a gym, and even protect my email on LinkedIn. I recommend using a pseudonym for dating apps, AI chat apps, your next house search. I mean, unless it's a bank or a government entity, places where your actual data is required, I don't see why you wouldn't use an alternative identity for this. Now, if you decide to use mysudo, which is available for those in the United States, Canada, Australia, and the UK, they have different plans that allow you to create 1, 3, or 9 pseudonyms, what they call pseudos. These pseudos include things like a working phone number for text messaging, calling, an email address that includes data storage, private browsers that you can browse with those different digital identities, and virtual cards that you can use to pay for pretty much anything online. Visit mysudo.com/ATS for a limited time offer that lets you try all of this for free for 30 days. And next time you're asked for your personal data, think twice before you fill out every single blank in a form. Just because they ask for it doesn't mean you're required to hand it over.